Get to know all your favorite VRChat DJs all in one place. This is VRCDJLIVE.
Very excited to be back here on the program for VRCDJLIVE, and very excited to have everybody here at a very special time, no doubt, in the middle of the day here on the East Coast. But for our European friends, this is definitely the right time for you to be here at the program. Again, welcome on in. It's VRCDJLIVE. I'm Rob Roman, your host, and normally on our program, we're sitting here with all of your favorite DJs, again, all in one place, with so many different groups and venues and clubs, and we get you all of the insider scoop knowledge of either becoming a DJ in the scene, how you are a DJ in the scene, or even how to go professional later on too. But of course, this is a interactive program, so if you're in chat, you can chime with us and ask some of your questions, per usual. And of course, again, we can be answering your questions today about DJing and getting into the scene and even understanding the scene. But more importantly today, very, very glad to have our guests for today's show, especially because most of it, while it does involve a lot of the DJs in the scene, it's mostly engaging with the scene, the people behind the scene, the people that are interacting with the scene. And we're going to be getting to know a lot about them. Fairly new group here with a focus on better health within the community, dedicating themselves to raising awareness for peer-related activities such as alcoholism and drug use in our community, and providing outlets. It's kind of a really big talking point today on today's program that can help out with not only people that are currently seeking out help for addiction and peer pressure related activities, but also those to be educated when helping others within our scene. Please welcome to the VRC DJ Live studio, Sapifh and BlackiChu of Rave Aid. Guys, glad to have you on the program. It was great because of the fact that when you did apply to be on the program, we were literally talking within our staff being like, this is super important to not only have you guys on the program, but to even bring up the fact that there's a lot happening within our community. So welcome.
Hi, I'm super excited to be here and have this show today.
And of course, Blackie, glad to have you here as well. I know that you do a lot within Rave Aid and coordination within your club, your group. I don't even call it a club. It's not a club. It's just a group of people that are very passionate about better health and better living in VRChat.
Yeah, great to be here.
So as we kind of start off the show, why don't you guys explain a little bit about what you both do within Rave Aid and kind of give us an example of something that we don't know. There's a lot of people within our community that don't really quite know you guys quite yet. So if you want to go ahead and introduce yourselves a little bit and explain kind of what Rave Aid does.
Yeah, so we offer virtual harm reduction. I think a lot of people be aware that in VRChat regular alcohol usage is sometimes a massive problem, and also, especially in the rave scene, is also regular recreational drug use more common than most people maybe think and believe. The issue is the alcohol, and maybe people who smoke weed are pretty open about it, but especially heavier drug usage is more of a taboo topic. People talk maybe with one or two friends but it is not an open topic. I even heard once the coolest about the drugs is not talking about them. And I personally think this is wrong because with drug usage, with alcohol usage, there should also go along a bit educational on what you put into your body to have a safer experience, or even decide against using a certain substance or drinking too heavily because you maybe have health conditions or mental health problems or be prone to addiction. And those are all factors you should consider. And yeah, we try to educate people on it. At the same time, we are building bridges to recovery partners here in VRChat and external ones to give people kind of like a way to fight their problems if they seek help and don't know where they can find it.
And what I find so unique about Rave Aid and the fact that we as a collective have been trying to do outreach to a lot of different groups, and it's nice to also see that groups are starting to kind of lean into not really themes, but a good attention to a specific thing. I feel like if you were going to be going into like UK jungle for a type of genre, you have a community that will focus in on that. But within that community, there's great outreach amongst that community where it's just like, well, we all live in the same area or in the same country, mind you. So there's a lot of peer-related topics that you can talk amongst your friends to, take care of business if at all anything were to help, to do that. But what's so unique about Rave Aid, in my opinion, is just that fact is that your group is so bold to be able to be like, we're here to help. We're going to give you the tools to succeed, and you can come to us if you need to, or if you're interested in helping out your fellow peers and your fellow friends that are having an addiction problem, and learn more information. I feel like also too, like, education's really difficult because I think a lot of people believe that education should be boring, and VRChat is fun, and Rave Aid's fun. A lot of your events are fun. So finding a way to like bring in members of the community to, take a moment, get to know some of the tools of the trade that you guys have, for accessibility purposes, to be able to help our fellow peers. And a lot of the conversation today is going to be mostly about that particular topic of the fact that, either you may know someone that has an addiction, or you may have an addiction. Seeking out help is very difficult if you're not willing to admit it. But your friends also want to find a way to help you out and help the community, to kind of further a better, we all like to party, we all love to rave, but we should be able to do it a little bit more responsibly. So, and I know with Blackie, you do a lot of event management when it comes to putting together events, and tell us a little bit about that process, especially with the fact that you want to incorporate these better habits and better well-beings for mental health.
Well, part of the process of our events is providing a space where people don't have to force themselves to drink. Also, don't get forced to like have a taking their narcotics, and we're trying to always use a cozy space for that as well, together with cozy music, just to make a comfortable space so people feel safe. Also encourage them to socialize a bit more with each other in those events. So yeah.
It's super neat to also see that there are a lot of events recently, even this past year, leading into this year. Honestly, I think this year I was introduced to like the first DJ who learned how to DJ lo-fi music. And I'm like, how do you do that? That's not, I don't know. Like, Spotify does the trick, and maybe you have some sort of playlist on YouTube on like some more relaxing music, either not really meditation music, but being able to, relax and enjoy the scene. But there's also a stigma behind, listening to much larger, harder, faster music. That's a little bit more aggressive, and there has to be steps to get you to that level. And while it is kind of a stigma, you could still listen to that style of music without ingesting a bunch of narcotics or have drugs, or even alcohol for that matter. I think a lot of people also ask me on the weekends if I drink. I drink, but I also do it in moderation, and I don't have to be forced on a weekend to do it. Especially because I know I have responsibilities at the end of the day that I have to follow up with. But of course, this being VRCDJLIVE, we like to open up the chat for questions. So if you guys at any point in time during our conversation love to chime in, obviously this topic is, for a lot of people, can be a little heavy. And at the same time, we've all been through health class, so I think a lot of the topics that we're talking about will be dependent on different communities and your own personal outreach. So having all of this information is going to be super helpful, even in the near future, just in case that you do come across some individuals or groups that need attention. Speaking of which, I want to kind of ask you guys, because within your community, you do a lot of outreach for mental health, for just well-being health, obviously eating your veggies, also drinking your water, going outside, taking breaks. I know in VRChat there's a little bit of a disconnection for people that keep forgetting that those things exist and they're supposed to be healthy for you. But I want your kind of immediate follow-up, your immediate takeaway to the amount of community interaction as of this past year and this year, because it does seem like within VRChat we have a lot of communities that are definitely either pushing an outreach program, not pushing, but like bringing awareness to a lot of different topics, and that's really neat for the people that want to come in. And but they're always, it just seems like it's starting to blossom and bloom a lot more. Are you finding that a lot of communities in VRChat are actively trying to find better ways to reach out to the community and bring awareness to a lot of different things?
Yeah, so at the end of the day, hosts, club owners have to deal with people who are a bit over top. It not even needs to be substance or alcohol. Like when someone maybe has depressions and a really bad day, and he lets it out on others, on events, moderation has to kick in. At the same time, a lot of people of the community know each other. So, of course, they are also worried about their friends and look what they can help. And this is not only in the rave scene. Like, I had people from the film and movie community coming to me and ask for resources because they had friends who struggled with certain issues. And here comes the role of the peers, and in my opinion, a lot. Like, I can support my group, right? So, my friends, the people who trust me, but I can hardly help people in other communities or friend circles. Especially, we have those big communities, but we also have small friend groups here in VRChat. So if you have one or two, let's say, a bit more responsible friends who have an eye open, who are emotionally available, this can help a lot and make it different for others then.
Now, I know one of the heavier terms that we kind of tread lightly on is the word therapy. And while therapy doesn't immediately mean that you have to go to a therapist, I know back in the day when the word therapy was introduced into my lifestyle, because I went to a therapist when I was a little bit younger, just based off of kind of a neurological disease, a neurological thing going through my body and the body that was changing for me between middle school and high school. A lot of people believe that going to therapy means that you're crazy or you're mentally unbalanced or just unbalanced, and it should never have to be that way. I mean, you can build your own version of therapy at home to de-stress, to unwind, and to also kind of untangle whatever's going on in your mind currently. I don't want to go ahead on a limb and just be like therapeutic candles. You know, the candles have a very awesome way of de-stressing you, bringing you back into stuff that you genuinely enjoy, while also giving you a moment to breathe and enjoy the sense and the stimulus and sensory experience that your body needs to kind of refocus or focus your energies elsewhere. And for our community that say, oh, they need therapy, or let's just say that they're looking for a better outreach than just going to a therapist, what have been some of the research takeaways that you've been getting from our community that have outreach? Have they been relying a lot on Rave Aid for that type of therapy or a very minor version of therapy? And what is something within Rave Aid that can help with that type of process, especially for those people that genuinely either don't have insurance or a way to get professional therapy?
So first, of course, everybody can reach out. People can also reach out for their friends if they themselves don't want to reach out. We have a helpline finder in our group links and on the Discord, on the website. And I would say this is the first wall of defense if someone really struggles. Like, you can go there, you can select your country, and then you find every available helpline, help chat you can imagine on. So it's not only a suicide line, it's also mental health line or LGBTQ crisis lines you can find there. Or if you feel more comfortable with chatting, you can select WhatsApp chats or similar things. I also have it in the backhand. There is the Blue Light org. It's a massive harm reduction group on Discord. They're pretty professional built. They also have the open discussion about certain substances, mental health, and it's also a worldwide program. So there you can find a really big group to find people who maybe struggle with the same issues. Also, we partner with Smart Recovery. They focus more on Zoom meetings and in-person meetings, especially in the USA. And there is also a way to go out and find a way to get your life in the right direction. It's not only about addiction, it's about what in my life needs to change that it goes more in the direction like I wanted. What I found impressive on their Discord server, they have a little bot with like, what are your little goals and milestones of the day? And there were then people like, oh, I woke up at time and I even brushed my teeth. And others engaged them with, hey, that's amazing. A month ago, you didn't were able to do this. And I think this can motivate people a lot. Even the small steps should be celebrated, especially if you don't feel good.
Especially in VRChat as well. We always just kind of see VRChat as a space for everything from trolls to performers to people that love to relax, someone looking for an added source of sensory. I know, for example, my mother is handicapped, so she can't proactively either get out of her house or, actually go out amongst social society and talk to people. Giving her an option to be able to put on a VR headset and get to interact with people is just steps further beyond with the technology. And for those people that do come into VRChat, they genuinely come in here because of what they see on the internet, whether it be, again, trolling, memeing, just kind of either playing the game, becoming a different persona, or in this particular case within our community, wanting to DJ and wanting to learn about that, which one of the things about our community too is we're going to kind of find a weird disassociation based on when people perform in here. They automatically think it's party all the time, it's doing the drugs, it's drinking every night, hooking up with loose women or or loose men or whatever you choose, which it all sounds fun, but at the same time too, there are some repercussions, and there's things on the other side of that can hinder. Obviously, if you drink a lot and you wake up the next morning with a hangover, that's your body saying, well, you're dehydrated and you probably shouldn't be doing that. But also too, again, being able to come in here and having the aid and having the resources in here that can help you progress. I think a lot of people think that going to the doctor is scary. I think a lot of people believe that going to therapy is scary, or even admitting to addiction is scary. So having you guys on board, along with the different various groups that we do have in here to raise awareness for specific things. I know the LGBTQ community in here is also very strong. The trans community is very strong in here. So having allies and having resources to be able to be a part of these types of groups is super, super important when it does come to raving in here. And wouldn't you believe it, we do a lot of raving in here and we do a lot of partying, and we need to make sure that we are drinking our water and doing, good things for our bodies and taking some time away. Speaking of which, I kind of want your takeaway a little bit about the certain communities in here that have been raising a lot of awareness via charity work and building money in charities and stuff like that. Obviously, that's been kind of a hot topic recently within our community to not only hold these huge mega festivals, but also bring in donations for certain charities in here. Obviously, I feel like we are going down the right path to raising awareness and being able to fund programs that are outside of our program while bridging that gap. And like we were saying with the smart recovery you were just recently talking about, we'll talk a little bit more about it towards the end of the program. But where do you see that happening in VRChat? Is it going to be happening a lot more? And how will the IRL VR bridging of the gap help get better translated in 2025?
So, in general, I think it's a good idea using the platform for charity, raising awareness, getting some donations together. Sadly, not every charity event is a reason to celebrate. There are also heavy topics who are get raised, but I think that's a good thing. Only because someone doesn't talk about a heavy topic doesn't mean it's out of the world, and it's important to speak about them as well. And if you can do on top, collect all those people, we have a lot of musicians here, technicians, organizers. And if those people think, hey, we are on every spot of the world and we can come together and raise awareness and maybe some donations for a good cause, then I think that's a big win. Like YouTubers, Twitch streamers do the same. They utilize the platform, take their free time, volunteer for it to raise some money and awareness for a good thing. And I think that should be more pushed and especially more valued by the broader community, that people do all of this in their free time just to make a point.
Raising some awareness to this and bringing light to that is super important overall. You'll probably hear me say that a lot because it is important. It's important for me. It's important for all of us. And funny enough, another recent example that I can think a little bit about was when I was working in radio several years ago. We did get to interact with a college within Central Florida that focuses in on esports and doing tournaments and understanding the business behind it. Not only learning how to be in esports, but also what it takes mentally and physically when you're doing tours, when you're out there performing. And funny enough, at the college itself too, they teach courses on physical therapy for those people that are genuinely playing in esports all the time. You wouldn't think that your wrists would play a lot in it, but there is a lot of movement that you have to go through. Most of the time you do get carpal tunnel when you're sitting there, or maybe you're sitting for a long period of time. Deals a lot with the back of your spine, a lot of the health incorporated with that. But I find that interesting because of the fact that there are actual surgeons and physicians and doctors out there that are genuinely passionate about teaching proper practices when it comes to either virtual gaming or regular esports gaming. And you would never think about that actually happening in real life and making that real life connection. Same thing with the people that are in here too, is believe it or not, we do have overstimulation by having a toaster on our head. And as your mom has said, you shouldn't be sitting so close to the damn TV. It'll hurt your eyes. Well, wouldn't you believe it too, that there are some people that are not, it's not even just like a drug addiction or a narcotics addiction, but an addiction to having a second life in virtual space, outside, like having a virtual reality being their regular reality, can also feed into a regular addiction as well. It doesn't have to just be chemical, just as we've been kind of going back and forth. forth. We are going to be diving in a lot about that, though. I know in our scene, there does seem to be a little bit of a stigma based on peer pressure of what to be ingesting, how to be ingesting, limits to ingesting, as well as being pressured by your peers. And we'll talk a lot about that as well. But I think a lot of people in the community want to get to know you guys a little bit, understand your passions for providing the said information, and why you even came into VRChat in the first place. So if you guys want to take a little moment, kind of explain how you found VRChat, what got you involved into VRChat to begin with, even outside of Rave Aid, and why you even decided to put this group together.
Yeah, so I came into VRChat in 21 while COVID was hitting pretty hard. I saw the classic fun videos, Drumsy, Hey I'm B on YouTube, and we're like, oh damn, those people have fun with their friends. I also want fun with friends. So I decided to take the vacation money and buy my first headset. And pretty early on, I found fun on building avatars and worlds and stuff. And yeah, I came in to just make some friends, to socialize and to have fun in here. And it developed then kind of like randomly into the rave scene for me. And I started to help there. And a big point of the group we have now is I was in 22 heavily alcohol addicted. I was even an administrator of a drinking community, and yeah, there's the peer pressure even harder, right? You go at 4 on a Discord call, pre-drinking till 9, then go in a drinking world, play some cards or other drinking games till midnight or 2 a.m. And then a bottle of vodka is empty. And there you don't drink heavily. Then you are weak or a loser or whatever. So the pressure there was extremely high. The environment was super toxic because, of course, everybody is drunk every day. The brain doesn't function then pretty right. And I see this in the rave scene too, how some of our friends start destroying themselves, their bodies and minds, because they cannot moderate themselves. So um, we had to make last year a decision if we want to continue with regular clubbing events or if we try a new approach. And because for me, it was especially important being there for the community and not even making events. And I saw this massive issue more clear. I wanted to do a bit against it. Like, my motivation comes often because I'm angry at something, and I was angry to see friends being always drunk and being rude because of this, or passing out on the dance floor, especially after I stopped drinking. So I thought, hey, why not educate them a little bit so they can learn how to have fun, but without harming themselves and hurting themselves and the people around them?
I think when it comes to the drinking community, and even at I wouldn't want to say a young age, but a younger age, when you are 20, 21, based on the origin that you're at. I know there's a lot of countries that do offer drinking at 18, which I would say in the Americas, I mean, alcohol does affect your body at a very young age because you are continuously still growing. I believe that your body continues to grow even as you get up to like age 40. And then after the hill, then you'll start to deteriorate a bit. But obviously, not only does it affect your regular stimulant growth, but your brain is constantly growing and thinking and remembering this sort of stuff. So being able to be a part of a community based on peer pressure of understanding drinking habits and drinking as well, it is quite a mental game between, should I be doing this because of friends? Should I be doing this because I need a place, a tribe to be a part of? Comparable to gradually learning into it. And while VRChat offers drinking things, and the popularity of it is around, there should be a much higher focus based on a different group that you can go to get to know a little bit better outside of those norms of, oh, you have to be in VR, if you got to be drinking while you're in VR. And I think that's what makes the DJ community such a unique place to go when you first get in here, is the fact that, like, it's not a matter of you bypassing the drinking part or doing drugs or narcotics or whatever, or to be a part of an experience. You could still be a part of an experience in VRChat within the DJ scene without doing all of that. So that's what I believe that's so unique in here, and the fact that you can come in and experience what we have going on here. Tell us a little bit about how you got involved with the rave community and the DJ community. Was there a specific group or a specific venue that you went to, maybe an event that you went to, that kind of kickstarted your love for the things that we do here?
Yeah, absolutely. In my beginnings, I just randomly joined a friend of mine. She was an avatar creator and she was on a rave. And I came in and were like, wait, is this person live? Oh my God, this is the thing. I need more of this. So I went with the power of Google and tried to pick every little club and event organizer I could find. I went through their servers, joined the partner communities. There was not a big representation in 21 for all of this, but the people were out there, and so I seeked for them. I felt always super comfy in the rave scene. Nobody harassed me. Nobody came and made some stupid jokes like, maybe the trolls weren't there, right? You had good music, you had people dancing, people talking to each other, and all in all, a relaxed and open atmosphere, even for new people. And this is also my experience if I bring new people in. The biggest concern in the beginning was, poor or better avatar. I see. I need to get one. But even there, hosts often share the assets, public avatars, explain the rules, especially if you're new. So I would say the first step into the scene is pretty nice and open. And after a while, you know the people, you join maybe on them, meet other clubs, events. These days, we even have the timeline and a massive social media presence, so new people have an easy time finding everything.
Yeah, and funny enough, I was talking with the owner of the timeline, and he's got some really big things coming up that will not only engage the music community even more to be able to understand events and festivals, but also bring other groups together. And hopefully we can find an even better way to be able to merge everyone from like podcasters to RP to maybe like skits and comedy events, and stand-up comedy would be really fun to see and hear a lot more. But as that scene is kind of on its own area in the internet, it's very difficult to find those. So being able to access all of that information is super helpful. We do have a question in chat that we're gonna get to, because obviously I want to spend a lot of time on questions from the community that want to know the answers. We are going to be talking about a lot of different topics, including drinking. Drinking's kind of a really big thing in here, but I think we are getting as a community, we're getting a lot better understanding our limits, understanding what is expected of us in the club. Good club etiquette is super important on this program, but at the same time too, this is more of an educational lesson for those people that are interested in coming into the scene. So we want to kind of welcome them with open arms, but also kind of give them the lowdown on listen, if you think you're going to go into a club in real life and act a fool, you'll learn. It's hard. It's going to be harsh, but you'll learn. But we want to be able to squash that and give you the tools necessary. But Blackie, I want to be interested in you as well. What brought you into VRChat to even begin with, outside of the Rave Aid community, and what kind of motivated you to come into the DJ area to talk about DJing?
Well, basically, I was from the beginning mostly interested in the technical stuff behind VR and how it is connected to VRChat a bit. Also, I watched a lot of, funny enough, brain rot VRChat videos, and was kind of, hey, that's also a lot of fun. Which brought me to VRChat as well, but mainly I joined actually after meeting Sapifh. I didn't join VRChat before meeting Sapifh, only after her. And yeah, well, the most of the time after that, I was actually more in the Rave scene around. There wasn't really that much around other parts in VRChat.
So how does it compare to be building events in here? And I would assume that you've done a little bit of research in our community by going to other events and seeing how they handle themselves, as well as understanding some of the loose behavior that a lot of people can be a part of. How does it feel to be able to hone in on Rave Aid's mission to be able to put together an event where it's not even a matter of eliminating alcohol, drug use, and stuff like that, but understanding limitations and providing a nice event. I've been to some of your events; they're really fun. They're popping off. The DJs are great, and so how does it feel to be a part of this? I don't want to say a movement, because it's while it is a strong movement, to be able to explain, hey, you know, we're doing better behaviors in over here. That doesn't mean that we're less cool because we're doing less of the things that are meant to be cool.
Well, first of all, it feels really great to do something good, also for the VRChat, for the Rave scene community. Also, it feels like doing something important as well by creating these events and giving people a safe space to just recharge their batteries. Compared to others, well, our events are way more relaxed in that case, since we are focusing also on that people can come to us and recharge their batteries after maybe long nights or long weekend or whatever they were doing on the weekends. So yeah, it feels really great to be part of Wave 8 in that case, to do something important, also helping out the community to be more concerned about their own health.
I know earlier we were talking a little bit about your upcoming recharge events, and usually host these recharge events in VRChat. I think it was every 2 weeks. So the next one is coming up this Sunday. Do you want to explain a little bit about what those events entail to those people that have no idea what those are?
Basically, what we're doing is providing a cozy area or searching for cozy worlds that are already existent in VRChat. We also have an own world that Sapifh built for Rave Aid, which is currently under construction.
A little bit.
A little bit. And we are trying to search for, well, we're trying to make like a cozy space where people can come in, don't have to worry about anything, just relax, search themselves a cozy corner, or go to their friends and talk to them, or socialize with other people. As well as the DJs are especially booked for also chill and cozy music as well. So the whole ambient can provide, so we can provide this whole ambient space for a cozy space, right? So yeah.
I know it's always interesting for me. I've been in here for a very long time, and I don't want to say that I'm old, but you know, with the years, I guess. And one of the things in VRChat that have been so unique, and I got to come up with a better word than unique, because it kind of is. It's one of a kind. The fact that you can come in here and you can unwind, and you can find sleep worlds and find cozy worlds, and there are world creators that legit just do that. They just keep pushing out some cozy worlds that you may not be able to have access to right away. I know earlier on for my generation, generation, our coziness happened to be the corner at Starbucks where they have like the nice chairs and the tables and the jazz music and the fact that there's a barista there that can make my coffee. You could legit fall asleep there as long as you don't over welcome your stay. You know, like you could stay there for a couple hours and enjoy yourself and take a little snooze if you choose to, but they might kick you out if you're there for a little bit longer. But that's one of the cool things about VRChat is that you can have these types of spaces. Now, moving forward, being able to have groups like Rave Aid and you guys not only assisting within finding better wellness and better health wellness in the game, but being able to provide events later on in the future that will kind of, again, rejuvenate us and bring us back to life to carry on into the next week and give us that downtime and that experience of downtime. And it's not just Rave Aid alone. There are some other groups and there's some other DJ events that provide therapeutic music or therapeutic vibes, or even just an experience where you can just let yourself loose and let go without a fear of judgment. And I find that so invigorating in this game because of the fact that you would think that within the DJ scene, it's just constant party, action, laser lights, stimulation, you know, and having drug use as well and alcohol helping with that as well. But on the outside of it, you know, it sure is nice to just go to a spa and decompress and enjoy stuff that could, you know, untangle everything and let you loose and relax. And that's something that I think that we all need to be enjoying. It's not even a matter of what's going on in our personal life, personal world, or maybe drama and virtual reality, but it is time that we do need to take a break every so often. Kind of getting into the chat and asking this question, and this is a very important question too, I'd love your responses on this, is when you have a friend who is constantly overthinking or overindulging in VR, how do you approach that friend while showing your concern and being able to assist your friend in here? What will be some of the first couple of steps, Sappy?
So I would say being honest, especially if you worry about your friends, you should say it. I had a situation on the weekend where a friend was super, super drunk, so drunk that he fell asleep while standing. And it's not the first time that I heard that there are some issues with this friend. Other mutual friend came to me and told me they are worried too. So on Saturday, another friend and me, we got him into bed after an hour. Hey, it's enough. You fall asleep with the headset on. This is not okay. And he went to bed. I left him Sunday to recover. And Monday I reached out and we're like, hey, how you feeling? On the weekend that was maybe a bit too much. Is everything okay? And of course he tried to whip it away. We're like, hey, without stepping you too close, but your friends and also me, we are worried about you. And we are worried because it gets worse. And so if you really want to talk, you can, right? Reach out. And alone making clear, hey, it's not that we think, oh, you have a problem. It's more, I have a problem seeing this because I'm worried that my friend hurts themselves. And I think if you stay by yourself while talking to people and tell the concerns and maybe how you feel about this, then you reach others maybe better. Because now it's not, oh, someone tells me I have a problem. I don't have a problem. So it's more, oh, my friends are worried. Not one, all of them. So maybe I should self-reflect a bit more. And he opened up, and I'm happy that he opened up. And this is a good first step. Just showing empathy, being there, not being mad, even if he insulted me, even if he made stuff up while he was drunk. And to be fair, this person was so intoxicated. You can't talk to someone like this. So better don't take it personal. Or when they are even sober and super aggressive on this day, don't take it personal. Take a breeze, wait a day or two, and then reach out maybe more privately, not with others around, and like, hey, this and that was not so cool. Is everything okay? I'm worried about you.
I know even in VRChat, it's such a tricky situation sometimes. Like that, what you told us, this story, it seems like it was a perfect resolution where you were able to kind of confront your friend and find common ground with them, and they also came back to you and communicated saying, "You're right. Maybe I should be doing this," and then you also telling them that we'll be there to help you in that situation. That's a perfect scenario because of the fact that you both communicate. You're also really well and accepting to both concerns based on you want to help your friend. You don't want to lose a friend. But at the same time, too, you're worried about the friend in hopes that the friend will change to better aid the situation, but also better aid in their friendship group. Obviously, I would really hate to think that certain addictions also lead to the loss of many friendships, burning bridges, and just very basic discommunication. And I wanna double down on this too, because there are some moments in this simulation where things can get really aggressive really fast based on certain people's way of living, intaking information, how to deal with said information. And there have been cases, and I want to hit you with a very extreme case, and I would love your opinion on it because I think a lot of people have had those similar situations before, and at the end of the day, it just sucks. Like getting into that type of situation is an awful feeling, but they also don't feel like there could be another way around it. This situation being the case of, let's just say you're doing everything you possibly can for your friend who has an addiction or overdrinks too much, and you've raised concern to them, but they themselves do not want to change. And for a lot of people in the simulation, what they'll do is they will just instantly disconnect from them and kind of pull the card of, well, if I can't convince them to change, then what else is there for me to do outside of, well, I'm going to go up a little bit higher and get someone else involved that they don't want to hear from. For example, EMTs or medics or even the police or something like that. So those people that have the addiction or the problem, in your eyes, they might see that as like a really negative thing because you're like, okay, now you're reaching out to a lot of people that I told you not to reach out to. But at the same time, you feel pretty guilty because you can't help out with the situation. So I kind of want to break that scenario down a little bit more just because I think a lot of people, it happens more than we want it to. Obviously we want to help our friends, but you only can do so much for that friendship to have them change. And I guess the real question is, what do you do when they decide to not change? What is there to do for someone that you want in your life, but you can't help with?
Yeah, the answer is pretty harsh, but first of all, you should look for your own protection as well. It is not good if your mental health goes south because you try to help someone who don't want help. A sad fact about our work is we can only help people who want help, who are open for our words. And if we now try to push the topic or the help onto people, it's more likely resulting in the opposite. You're pushing them away. They feel maybe you are like their mom and try to explain them how to live, and they are adults. So in real life, when you have, as an example, a family member or friend who is addicted, at a certain point, you have to let go because those people are needing to see I'm starting to lose everything right now. Every time someone tries to help me, I just slap them. And the result is that people distance themselves. And I think this is a healthy way for the person who has not a problem. It is always nice and really, really precious when you try to help someone, but sometimes it's also important to let go and let people go through this alone if you reach a point where you feel no matter what I do, I can't help them, and the only thing I really can do is watching them destroying themselves, and this is not good for someone's own health. And you should always consider this. You cannot save the whole world. Adults are exactly this, adults, and they will do whatever they want. And this is why our approach is not, oh, drugs are bad. No, I am absolutely positive in this, but more in a look, this substance is so much fun, but so you need to see both sides of the medal to make a smart and informed decision. Um, and it's with a lot of people, it's like, oh, I tried to help my friend, but I get only yelled at, or in real life they get physically and attack me even. Sure, in such cases you can call the police, but this often makes everything even worse because now they have an issue with the police or sit maybe in jail, lose their job, and this makes the whole life situation even worse. Of course, if you know someone has a medical emergency, no matter if it is something with addiction, with substances, or even just a normal health condition, call a doctor or someone who can bring them in the hospital or to a doctor. But at the end of the day, you cannot force adults to do anything they don't want to do.
Is this also the same situation with like blocking someone? I mean, I feel like the steps to take to even block, like let's just say your friend's a troll and you would know that they're a troll and they're memeing and they're having fun with it. But there are times in our lives in VR chat where that gets way out of hand. And even in the case of just like being able to talk to them about it and say, hey, what you're doing is not good. Maybe you should dial it down a bit. And I think a lot of people feel guilt when they go and block somebody. But do you think that this is kind of the same scenario too, where that guilt is valid, but it has to be done?
I mean, not everybody likes everyone, and people will have conflicts, and sometimes I would say blocking them out is a healthy way to stop the drama who's going on. It always hurts to lose a person you loved. To cancel a friendship is also having an impact of us. It's like breaking up with your partner. It hurts. You had a trusted person, you respected them, you valued them. But again, if your own mental health starts to suffer, and setting healthy boundaries is not a bad thing. Um, I think people can overdo it with setting boundaries, but it's like, I don't know, imagine in real life you are not a really touchy person and you have someone who's always giving you hugs, pets, even in public and in a 2 or 3 minute span, and you tell them, hey, could you please stop touching me? It is making me uncomfortable. And if they continue, you would also stop spending time with them because you feel uncomfy around them. There are petty reasons to block people. Some people block only temporary to make like a break point. It's like, okay, it's enough. It's break for us. Both of us, we go on the silent step, right, and think about what happened. And maybe 2 weeks later, we can come together and talk like adults when the hot air is a bit out of the room. Often stuff gets not as hot eaten as you cook it, right? On the other hand, if you say, oh no, I don't feel comfy anymore with this person in my life, and I see the need to block them out because even I made a clear boundary that I don't want to have anything to do with them anymore, they keep going, harassing me, yeah, then it is what it is. In this case, you need to be the bigger person, and everybody has own limits.
And again, with when it comes to mental health and constant well-being, there are a lot of things that a lot of people believe it's just strictly alcohol and drug use, but there are a lot of other mechanics to that process that have such a difficult time with a lot of people in our game. Again, we're in a social simulation. We have to act peer to peer. Unless you decide to act upon yourself to go and experience it yourself, virtual reality chat is you're chatting, you're hanging out with people and getting to know them and understanding. But just as Sappy did say, the fact that you can't be friends with everybody. But I'll also kind of throw into the ring here the fact that your tastes change, and while you do want to remain friends with a lot of people, you can't also expect those people to change along with your change as well. And when it comes to the years and the even months, things can change within months as well, and certain tastes and certain things happen. You do have to kind of be a better version of yourself as a growing adult to realize that not everything can be staying around forever, i.e. even our childhood. We all love to kind of go back in time, and I wish we can have everything just as good as our childhood was, but think of all the fun things we can do as an adult that we couldn't have done as a kid. And I think a lot of people also kind of take that out of context as well. But all of that is super important to understand too, because again, you don't need to be under the influence to remove toxic relationships and toxic friendships. That's why the term toxicity exists to begin with. The fact that you have to recognize it and figure out a way that will aid in your solution for your better living. As well as the better living of better communication down the road. Speaking about better communication, I want your opinions based on an outside look into what we have going on in here. Off stream, we were talking a lot about the toxicity of YouTube and finding a lot of clickbait stuff and a lot of topic direction on negative values that are in virtual reality that a lot of people misconstrued what we actually have going on in here. And that also kind of resonates a little bit. And thankfully, a lot of the YouTube specials that are focused in on the rave scene and the dance scene, while they do bring light to the fact that alcoholism and drug use and narcotics are a thing in here, not everybody has to go through that. So what are some helpful things that we can bring light to the people that are actively typing in VRChat in their search bars to be able to explain what we have going on in here? But what are some other fun things that we can draw attention to that we enjoy in here outside of the basically the instability of the fact that people are drinking and doing drugs in here?
So first of all, I think those YouTube videos, especially those who criticize VRChat for its dark side, those are people who speak from a pretty high moral high ground, if you ask me. They are like, oh my God, they are adults and they are drinking alcohol. It's like, oh no, so bad, poor baby. Maybe you should go in the Weenie Hut Junior back and play with the other kids if this fact of humanity and real life is too hard. Like, I can go down the streets. There are 6 bars where people are drinking and socializing. I can go in the industrial area in my city, and there's a massive clubs where people do drugs and dance and DJs play live music, right? We are adults. We go to work and we need a way to decompress. And for some people, it's a few beer on the weekend and dancing and socializing with their friends. I think the age verification we have is good, even for safe for work events, because alcohol usage and adult spaces are exactly this, an adult space. You would not let a kid in a bar, and the people are also pretty safe for work in there, right? So those videos view VRChat out of the lens of a 14-year-old who's scared about sex and alcohol and all the sinful behavior the pastor warned them. And yeah, get over it. Also, we have here a lot of passion. Like, oh yeah, you see people on the dance floor having fun, but someone made this dance floor, someone built the stage, someone programmed the slide system, someone went out and made a lineup, someone talked to everyone that they are on their place when they need. Like, your team is a good example for this. Like, we have 3 people in the background sitting they are looking that everything goes smooth. We have you who prepared everything. We have someone who built this world we are in. We have someone who moderates the Twitch chat right now. It's not just party hard and dancing. Here are people doing serious work in the background that others can have fun. And I think the focus should be way more on the people in the whole VRChat bubble who do stuff. We have someone who made a functional volleyball field, right? Like you can play volleyball with your friends on the other side of the planet. We have creatives like Dr. Morrow with the organism, epilogue, and ritual worlds I really enjoy because it's like walking through modern art. We have a lot of artists who present their creations and just showcase them. We have so many creators who just make fun games. They could also go on Steam and sell them for $5, but instead they say, hey, here community, have some fun with this free game I built, right? So only seeing the sinful part forgets who builds those sins.
Kind of going a little bit about the fact that you do have some underage people in here, and obviously we've been going back and forth with the actual age verification, as well as on Steam. It's showcasing that VRChat is a 13 plus platform, that anybody that is older than 13 can come in here and experience the stuff that we have in here. And I think a lot of the people that, again, I'm not here to state my opinion. This is your show. We're here to have you here, but it's important for people to have an understanding that, yes, the YouTube people that are kind of hyper focused in on that demographic coming in here to either try to find better friendship or friends, or even coming to hang out and have a good time. There are some genuine, if you were to kind of think about how our 13 or 14-year-old selves were, you know, we relied on adults to help us gain better knowledge on certain things. Now, there's a lot of children that are trolls that like to come in here and they like to troll. Who doesn't? I mean, obviously, if you were a kid and you were tagging a wall or something, you know, you might just get a slap on the wrist and maybe a stern warning from your mother, as opposed to going to adult jail. But at the same time, too, like, those kids, maybe they don't have the idols to be able to teach them what's right or wrong, or get a better understanding. And maybe for them to kind of come in here and either talk to people. I don't think it's illegal for you to talk to a child, as opposed to grooming a child, or, you know, making them do things for you, as a lot of these YouTube videos have been kind of portraying that ideology in. You know, maybe there is a disassociation from talking to children to begin with, but some of those kids come in here and maybe they are looking to find answers. I mean, even the people in the DJ community, you know, we haven't seen a lot of young kids come into our community properly asking us how to become a DJ. You would think that this is the place for that. They'd be able to come in here, learn it as a hobby. I mean, you could learn it on YouTube, and there's lots of examples on YouTube, but why not talk to some DJs? You know, even the 13, 14-year-old me reached out to the principal tubist of the Hartford Symphony Orchestra to learn how to become a tuba player. You know, like that's something that I enjoyed to do. So there is some miscommunication when it comes to there's a lot of disassociation when it comes to those types of videos, especially coming into our scene. And as you were right, you know, a lot of people do have a lot of de-stress to have a drink. We're all adults. We should all be able to figure this out, as well as understanding what's going on in our community overall. So having these discussions and again, being able to think outside the box with a lot of these topics are super important for us to consistently come back to. You know, the fact that we have a lot going on in virtual reality, and while a lot of people are in here looking at us being degenerates or you know, child groomers, I suppose, if that's what they want to call it, there are active people in here that love to do things passionately and have good hobbies. And it's okay to have hobbies and enjoy your hobbies, especially within good friendship and good, within good colleagues and people from around the world. This is VRCDJ Live. We're sitting here with Sapifh and BlackiChu of Rave Aid, and we're kind of breaking down all of the different things within our community that we don't normally have a lot of time to. I think a lot of people believe that within our community there are things that are a bonus And an add-on to what we do here, obviously not everybody has enough money or influence to either travel around the world, go party at like Ibiza or Ultra or or EDC or Tomorrowland or something. And even when you're out there, you have good community of friends. If not, go there solo dolo to meet up with some new friends and get to know them a little bit better. But there's a trust factor that kind of comes in it. What I want to do now is I kind of want to break it down even further because while we're all connected here, and especially for those people that are at home watching that are from the European area and on the other side of the pond, comparable to the Americas over here, we collectively love to come together within our community, our dance community, our rave community, and our performance community. But I feel like within our origins and growing up and understanding the different country values and limitations, I kind of want to get an immediate breakdown of this. And one of those things that we were kind of discussing off stream was not a matter of, again, alcoholism. That tends to be a kind of a hot topic within our community. A lot of drinking happens. A lot of people say, shots, cheers, all that sort of stuff. But I feel like another part of that is peer pressure. And I feel like a lot of that is if you're going to continue to build friendships, those friendships are going to want you to step outside of the line and challenge yourself to not only just compete, but like get on the same level as where you're at as well. So I want you to break down a little bit about what you guys see within our community based on peer pressure that a lot of us, get involved in that may not be the proper norm that we should be proactively in within our community.
Yeah, so it's not only in VRChat, it's in real life the same, right? Everybody knows the situation. You go out with friends, you don't want to drink something, as an example, and then, why? Like you get this. Why are you like this? Like, I want to get shit-faced, so you need to get shit-faced too, because I don't have enough fun when you are sober. This mentality is, especially in our country, is in real life a lot. We have legal drinking age of 16. People normally start drinking with 14, 15. And you have this, everybody needs to be strong, right? You need to take in much and still stand, and then it's fun. Um, it's with a lot of other stuff as well. It's like, oh, I want to do a nice evening in front of the TV, and then people are like, oh, come on, and we humans, so the power of groups is a thing, right? Even with people we don't know. When you go in an elevator, then people normally, if you have a little group like 1, 2, 3 people, they normally look to the door or at each other from the different corners. If you have 5, 6, 7 people in an elevator, we build a circle to see everyone. We make this natural. So this is a small form of peer pressure, kind of, with people we not even know. So of course we don't want to disappoint our friends and loved ones, and we trust them. So at one point we are like, this feeling is now too bad. Yeah, come on. 1, it's fine. As I stopped drinking, I had situations where people like, hey, drink some. I'm like, 1 second, I get my orange juice. What is wrong with you? Blah, blah, blah. So they try to give me a bad consciousness about it. And I straight up said, oh, I was an alcoholic. I stopped drinking. So it would be nice if you stop pressuring me back into my addiction, if it's possible. And then they immediately stopped. But it is sad that you need to have a serious issue to not have to, like, from this group pressure. I think, especially in Europe, we anticipated the water cheers a lot. I saw this also in American communities a lot, that people say, okay, you drink with us, but optional, you can drink, I don't know, some Red Bull or Fanta or water or what you like without alcohol. Also, maybe people should consider that nobody sees them in real life. So you can even say, yeah, wait, let me get my beer and just get some without alcohol. Nobody sees what you drink. So this pressure is more in our head. And even if we don't want to be the uncool people now, we can say we drink some alcohol and just don't. Also, it's important to drink some neutral, eat something in between drinking alcohol anyway.
Now, coming from the Americas side, obviously you do have to be 21 years of age to consume alcohol. You have to, I believe you could be 18 to purchase cigarettes, as well as lottery and stuff like that. But alcohol is still 21 plus here, comparable to what you could find in Europe. And you'll have a lot of people that are in between 20 and maybe 25 that go backpacking through Europe, trying to find themselves and stuff like that, but also learn about the different origins and the different living conditions and stuff like that. So because we have a little bit more of an American follower base and viewer base for the program currently, maybe you could break down a little bit about the different types of pressures that a lot of the younger people of Europe have to go through when they have started to learn about drinking, the types of drinking that can be readily available. Because obviously a lot of people, when we do rave in here on the weekends, the Europeans, I feel kind of lean more towards wine or cider or maybe spirits, hard liquor, compared to beer. Some people do drink beer. I think Americans drink more beer, but that's just what I see. But what are some of the pressures that, as a 14, 15-year-old, even going into a 16-year-old situation, either within school or learning about your body and learning about the effects of alcohol, how does that all kind of play a role as your development goes in Europe?
So the ironic thing in Europe, it as often starts inside the family. Like most of us have the first nip on some sparkling wine or beer with our parents. It's ironic because most families here also have at least one alcoholic in the family, so they are aware this can go south. But on the other hand, it's like, oh, now you are a bit older and you start getting an adult. So here is the first taste of adulthood. It is also super common that people or families, when they eat dinner, that they drink a beer or wine to it. Or when people come together, that they drink some wine. Like, I like when my boyfriend and I sit on the couch and maybe drink a glass or two in a super relaxed manner over longer periods of times. And at the same time, you have, especially with younger people, again, they want to be strong. I think you see this in America on colleges too, right? People are allowed to drink now. So now they have to prove that they are able to drink, not just a beer, like a whole crate of it.
So you're seeing that within
Um,
like teenage, early adulthood. That's what it's mostly. It is just the matter of peer pressure to see who can handle their liquor the most.
yeah, absolutely. Like if I remember, I was 15, 16, 17. We had people who started really going overboard just to prove, oh, I can drink a half bottle of booze and I'm still standing. I'm so great. This substance can't hurt me, and I'm still standing here and talking to you guys. It's like walking up a big hill and feeling proud that your legs are still on your body, right? Um, and especially if you're younger, right? Kids do stupid things to prove their friends that they are the strongest and the best and whatever. They try to figure themselves out. And I would say this is normal part of it. But because of our society even engaging drinking behavior, this is a big important point. Um, you have to have a good excuse to not drink with your friends, right? And I think that's a sad culture we have here. It should not be an obligation to drink alcohol, especially in an early age, just because everyone else is doing it. and is unhappy to see someone who's not drinking, right? As a woman, you get us, oh, are you pregnant or is anything okay? And I think this is crossing so many lines, right? It's like, oh no, you don't need to be pregnant to just not drink. Or it's like, oh, you drive, I see, this is why you're not drinking. Oh, you take medicine. This is understandable, but one beer is okay still, right? No? Oh, that's sad. It feels a bit like people who drink can't have fun if everyone around them is sober.
Well, some of those other things too about learning the different ages and the scenarios that you're in. Obviously, you brought up fraternities and stuff like that. Like in American fraternities, they're not as boisterous as everything you see on Animal House or the movies, where they're like TPing each other's houses, and well, you have the the probationary period kid that's the on top of the roof sleeping, or I guess after one wild party that could happen, but yeah, just like you were saying, it is a source of being strong. It's kind of a challenging area of understanding how much you can ingest, but also being able to recover the next morning. And actual physical body stability. But that also, for those people that don't actively try to do that, there is a follow-up to that too. You can't just dehydrate yourself and expect to come out on the other side ready to go. Like, you need to fuel your body, you need to eat, you need to drink more water, you need to, carb up, as they would probably say, as if you were going to run a marathon as well. But understanding understanding the age restrictions, like you were telling me, and the different peer pressures, not only just amongst your friends, but within your community as well, is super important. And the way that we kind of focus it here in VRChat, that I would like to address, it's super important to have a good understanding. There are some people that genuinely go to college and they get to experience what it's like to be in college, amongst your peers, amongst your colleagues, and being able to be out by yourself under the thumb of your parents, so you're not, your parents are part of the situation, so you have to grow up and learn about yourself. But your friends also, your peers, have to help you with better decisions and what you decide to do, and you have to trust them. Not a lot of people get that opportunity to do that. I think in Europe there is a strong family base, and there's a lot of friends that are close by, especially within your family. Your immediate family would be living in that area to begin with. I mean, you might have some extended family that is kind of close by, but all of your friends and family are kind of nearby. Not too many people get to go out to college, so they have to kind of rely on their social lifestyle, whether it's working with your colleagues at work, or even coming in here to be able to judge that stronghold of how much liquor you can hold, what's your tolerance. That's super interesting to see from the outside in. Obviously, being a part of it's kind of tough because you have to interact with those types of people and teach them and give them better advice on how to handle their living habits comparable to learning in college, I guess. I mean, you're constantly learning in college anyway, based off of what you're doing. But what I want to try to do is I want to be able to break that type of barrier as we identify even more into VRChat. And one of the things that I've been seeing a lot of is a generational shift, and getting all of this information out there, and better resources, better information, better education on what we do in here compared to what is actively being pushed in our community to begin with. The generational shift, like I was explaining, was originally we had some 25 to 30-year-old somethings that do stuff in here, DJ, be part of an experience. And as we continue to progress year by year, those people are going to get older. Not saying that they're boomers, but they complain about the youth currently. And then you have those early 21 to 25s shifting into that role too, complaining about the kids before them. Now, the tough part about that is the people that are 25 to 30 now are trying to keep up with the fact that the 21 to 25-year-old kids in here, when I say kids, I say newer users, that are trying to push that peer pressure on them to say, hey, if you want to hang out with us, you have to keep up with us, old man, old woman, stuff like that. comparable to the people that have gone through all of that and we're just like, man, we're in here just to party. We don't have to drink to be cool. And getting on that level here in VRChat is a little unnerving because, as you've said, and as Rave Aid likes to explain, you don't have to drink to have a good time in here. And that's such a foreign thing to say. I feel like that's something within our community. If we were to say that, I feel like, no, you can't hang out with us because we're not cool. So I think what I want to try to do is get a better basis and understanding of how we can squash this. You know, if it's not an immediate huge social issue, because there are a lot more people in here that want to party without the influence as opposed to the people that are influenced. But how can we continue to better this practice in here to not only showcase all of the fun things that we do in here, but be able to help each other through peer pressure? And I think you might know the answer. I think you know the immediate answer to the question that I'm asking you, but I want to see what your take on it is.
Yeah, so first of all, if you're over 13 and an 18-year-old hurts your feeling because you can't keep up, grow up fast, please. Like, also youngsters coming to me and trying to bully me about this, and my normal reaction is like, okay, there, you are strong, it's fine. But I'm too old to feel challenged by an 18-year-old who wants to fight me with drinking or other stuff. Um, on the other hand, I think moderation can help here a lot. In our event space, there's one important rule, and this is if we see peer pressure, then we go in between. Like, people normally respect our space, and of course, they are still drinking here and there, but normally people don't do it open. They don't cheers every 5 seconds, and they are not forcing others to drink. I mean, we are the wrongest environment for it, and if we would see this, we would moderate. And here it's not about moderating fun, it's moderating bad behavior. And in this case, forcing someone to drink or to do stuff they don't want. Like, if you see someone sexually harassing another guest, you would also intervene. It's not about moderating fun, it is to keep the safe space. And if someone feels harassed, no matter why, then you as a moderator can step in and say, hey, could you please stop doing this? This is inappropriated and we don't want it here.
Thinking a lot about that too, and I'm glad that you brought up that answer, because I was going to follow up with, yeah, I think there might be some times where we do have events in here that some people feel nervous about approaching a moderator or someone who owns the instance, and raising concern over someone who is sloppy but having a good time. You know, you don't want to be the guy that goes up and says, "Oh, this guy's acting a fool." And this kind of goes hand in hand with, well, if I block them but don't report them, as long as I don't see them, then they can't hurt me. But at the same time, too, you have to be reasonable and say, well, what about the rest of the people in this instance? Are people feeling the exact same way as I do? And I think the immediate answer is just better communication and better being able to be upfront. And as bold as it does sound, you know, we're all adults. That's the thing. That's the fun thing about this. And that's the thing about being an adult that I think a lot of people take out of context, is that we're constantly learning. Just because you turn 21 doesn't mean that you know everything. And tell it to the kids that are coming out of high school or out of college thinking, oh, I'm just going to get married because I've had 21 years of experience compared to the 80 years of my life. You know, they could decide to get married because they know better at 21. You may, who knows? I don't know. But at the same time, too, like, we're constantly learning. And there are some people out there, too, that do get married outside of 21, but it doesn't work out for them. And they realize that now because they've learned. But that's the fun thing about what we do in here, is that we're constantly learning. But as adults, we need to, as you may have said, grow up and have better communication. especially amongst our peers. You know, if we want to be friends with everybody and kind of hold on to that mentality, then sure. Let me ask you a really taboo topic, because I feel like you guys also experience this just as much as we do here in the America side. But do you find that there are more peer pressures from Europeans wanting Americans to drink with them, or vice versa?
I would say nobody is better than the other one. We Europeans have a pretty heavy drinking culture, and um, yeah, I don't know. I noticed it from both sides. I had Americans who came to me and were like, "Hey, come on," and I had Europeans doing it like this. Um, I would say this is more a human thing than a cultural thing of those two spaces. Alcohol is a thing we consume nearly everywhere on the planet, and it makes everybody the same stupid while they are drinking it.
True. True.
So we,
It's like a little bit of a pause there, but I'm like, wait a minute, I think you're right.
yeah. So I think this is more a human thing, and we can challenge it by just keeping maybe an eye open. So if I see in my friend group this one person always pressuring, I don't need to approach them alone, right? Because maybe others are also slowly annoyed by this behavior. And if you go with two or three people and be like, hey, it's okay that you have fun and want to drink and all, but could you please respect the decisions of others as well? Because then you have your own peer pressure, right? It's like 1 against 3 with please stop this behavior in our direction.
I know it's going to be kind of another egregious topic, but what is your thoughts on constant cheersing? Because there are a couple of groups that come out there, and we hear cheers literally every 2 minutes, every 5 minutes. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, so I personally like cheersing a lot. But I always, I have my orange juice, I have my water or some soda here, right? So I don't feel pressured drinking alcohol. And I think, especially in our space and the clubs and friends we are with, there's this. Oh, I said cheers. I didn't said you have to drink alcohol. So inside of this group of people, let's say 100, 200 people, it's super common that we have a lot of cheers, but it gets pointed out that you don't need to drink alcohol. It's about the ritual, putting the classes together, and it's not about drinking alcohol. And I like the idea to point this out, that people know, oh, you just want that I make a ritual with you, but you don't want especially that I drink alcohol now.
And I think it's something that we all would kind of take for, not really take for granted, but we should definitely keep a page of that, of like that it's a ritual. What we're doing is we're celebrating. We're having a good time. We're here like as an ex-girlfriend once told me, we can't have to eat cake every day. Because you eat cake every day, you get fat, and unless you want to be fat and happy, you know, cake should only be just a celebratory thing to kind of do. But being able to celebrate on the weekends, the fact that it's a weekend is an absolutely wonderful thing that we have going on in here, that I think a lot of us need to remember, you know, that we're not constantly drinking liquor and we're not trying to pressure each other. We're here to have a good time amongst each other, regardless if anyone's drinking or not. It might be something definitely a good takeaway from this. It's VRC DJ Live. Again, we're here with Rave Aid, and we are coming up to the bottom of the hour. We still have like about 30 minutes left of the program, and I do want to get to BlackiChu about some of the events that are coming up with Rave Aid, especially with the event that's coming up this Sunday. But before we get to all of that, one of the things, as we complete full circle about all of the different things that do happen within our community, I want to be able to find information and ways that we can engage the community to find better practices and find the information needed to have a better conscious of our friends and be able to help our friends. So I want to dive in and be like, what is something that Rave Aid loves to give us for tools and resources that can aid in our friends' success to better health practices?
Yeah, so I think information and education are some really important points here. The whole idea where like, okay, people hate to Google their own infos and some of them are just straight bad in it. And we have in general in our lives this trust me bro mentality. So there are a lot of harm reduction and mental health offers in the internet. You just need to find them. So what we tried is we have our Discord server, and there you have categorizations like emergency informations. What do I do when I have a bad trip or a panic attack? Or we have resources like a track checking app where you can also inform yourself about informations. We have our website. There are also links to the helpline, to recovery partners, to safer use rules. And what we also have, let me show you.
Yeah, I was gonna
We
say you guys have
utilize a
some
bit
prints that yeah, I was hoping that you were gonna
exactly.
showcase while on the stream here.
So we use prints just for plain information sharing. The good thing on the VRChat prints is you can share them with your friends, with the community. You can then hang them up in the world. Like you would find something like this in a real club maybe as well, right? A little info flyer with, hey, if you drink, keep those simple rules maybe in mind to have a better time. We have multiple prints with different informations for different substances, um, a drug mixing chart, and yeah, it's just people can take this, people can clone it, and just hand it out to their friends or download it to their PC. And the good thing is, if I join a world, I can just put 3 or 4 prints out, hang them on the wall, and it seems like the clubs don't have a big issue if there is some safer use stuff hanging there.
It's also very,
Um,
it's definitely educational for the people that are behind the scenes and or not, but even behind the scenes. Let's just say, like for today, for example, there aren't too many events, rave events happening on Thursdays. That's why we choose to have the program on Thursdays, so that way people can learn a little bit about what is to come for the weekend, get prepared for the weekend, as well as, you know, I would assume that people are getting their provisions for the weekend when they are getting ready to party. But like, you do have a couple people that do go to parties, like myself, and maybe I'm not really wanting to go party, and I just want to be in the back, hear the music, don't have to go too crazy. But having some form of a reading material is kind of a really neat thing to have, especially when you're at an event. And let's just say that your buddy does go a little crazy, you know. Having that resource, it's kind of like a first aid first aid kit. You know, there's a lot of cool things in there. You don't have to know where it is, but if you know where it is, and let's just say somebody scraped their knee and you're looking for a band-aid, you know, check the first aid kit. They'll probably have a band-aid in there that can aid in that. And the fun thing that I love about this here, and I'll just if I could take it, one of the fun things that I really love about this print too is this thing down here with the cup. How much is considered to be one drink? I think a lot of people, when they think about the different products and the different things that you can take a look at to better yourself when it comes to drinking, is the red Solo cup. And I think a lot of Americans, they recognize the red Solo cup as being like the quintessential I'm drinking cup thing to use. But wouldn't you know it, that the Solo company that makes the red Solo cup also make little notches in the cup to define measurements of how much you should be ingesting. And I'll just go ahead and shoot. So having that information is super helpful, especially when you are in the club, and let's just say that you don't want to go as hard as you want to, but let's just say your friend has a Solo cup and you say, make sure you do 3 notches up, you know, that's going to be your limit. But having that education so far in advance is super important, even for your own better health. You know, let's just say you're going to go to work the next day. You can use the notches on the red Solo cup to identify whether or not you're going to go too hard or not, comparable to what the average is that you need to be aware of. What are some of the other materials that you have on print that it would be super helpful for people to understand?
Yeah, so one of the most popular prints I have is this one. Come on. It's the guide for drug combinations. So a lot of people who do drugs love to combine them, right? People do ketamine and cocaine. People smoke weed and take magic mushrooms or alcohol. Um, and not every combination is as safe as another one. Um, in general, you cannot combine stuff and call it safe. But there are combinations who have a higher risk and a lower risk. So I had situations where people like, oh, I took this and that. Can I drink something? And I'm like, oh, 1 second, let me get out this thing. And we look, right? And then you have here different categorizations, like you have a low risk but a synergy, or a low risk and no synergy, or a low risk and you decrease even the substance. What is the case with trip killers, right? Like if you are on a psychedelic trip, it gets too heavy, you can take trip killers to cancel the trip. So some combinations are even beneficial, but then we have combinations where you need to be cautious or who are straight unsafe or dangerous, right?
The way I see it is that
And
having obviously having tools like this are super helpful, and even being able to put that in our catalog as far as prints go, like you can definitely be able to see that for Americans. I know on our side, even for less egregious or aggressive drugs. For example, I think a lot of people, when they have headaches, they take acetaminophen or they take ibuprofen, but then they go back to drinking caffeine right after. And it kind of doesn't work very well when you're trying to like crush your crush that headache of yours. But at the same time, too, depending on where you're from as well. I know in Jamaica they don't like using medicine. What they do, they smoke weed. They smoke weed to get rid of headaches. They sleep it off, or they will drink their headache away, which I found extremely fascinating. But their methods are their own methods, of course. They have research based on those methods. You can take over-the-counter medications, or not even over-the-counter medications that can aid in that, but depending on the researches that you have and the evidence that you have will help you out in this particular case. Same thing with this as well. I didn't think that there would be medicines out there that would take you off of a trip, let alone people that are in VRChat looking to get a trip. I think that this is important information for a lot of people to recognize and read up on. And again, you said all of this is available up on your website as well?
yeah, exactly. It's also available on the website and on the Discord server as well. So what I'm really proud of, Trips is a big harm reduction group themselves online. They made those chart, and you can go on their website. I linked it right under the sheet on the website we have, and there you can select different combinations yourself and read about more what is the synergy between them, or why is it dangerous, or why it could even be beneficial, like stopping a trip with this.
And having all these tools and resources are super important, especially right now. And I know we're going to kind of get into a little bit more of events that Rave Aid's going to be getting into in a moment. But I want people to understand that having these tools and having these charts and having these resources, not only for your own benefit, but for the benefits of your friends and the people that are new users coming into VRChat, looking to experience more of the rave scene. And it's kind of foreshadowing because of the fact that we are starting to get a lot more users coming into our scene based on stuff that they've seen online, videos that they've seen, friends telling them to come in and experience what we've got going on, people that want to start doing DJing. Maybe people don't have enough money to go to festivals, obviously with the economy the way it is. It's you got to find entertainment to fit your needs. but having these resources to help them out as well, based on the journeys that they're going to be going down to do that. And we're bringing all this information to you right now, just as if you were going to go to a festival and experience this with an EMT or a medical tent. There are people out there that genuinely want your health and well-being when it comes to these types of festivals. And again, I think a lot of people don't recognize it quite yet. A lot of festivals are coming. Summertime is around the corner, despite the fact that we're kind of in the middle of spring. But it's better to have this knowledge and have this education of how to handle these things, comparable to all the festivals that are going on. Now, again, explaining myself, a lot of festivals have been announced. I know we were hearing a little bit about Project Community Fest happening in June, as well as we've also heard that Virtual Market will be coming back mid-July. And these are only just a handful of festivals that will be popping up in the next couple of months. And I think a lot of people are going to be experiencing a lot of burnout because everybody wants to do everything, but at the same time, everybody wants to drink while they're doing everything. So it's just understanding that and getting educated and being prepared. Getting readiness and being prepared for all of this going on. So the next question would be, is with all of these festivals coming up, not even explaining IRL shows, concerts, traveling to other festivals. I know there's a big festival out in Amsterdam. Liquidity is happening again at the end of July. It's going to be hot out. You're going to want to hydrate. You're going to want to, especially festivals happening in VR. What are some things that we can start to automatically start to bring in and be prepared for the festivals that we have in VR alone? What do you think there's some helpful tools that we should already get to know better for when we have these festivals?
So first of all, it's summer, right? It's hot. So if you don't have an AC at home, look that you drink a lot of water, even if dancing is fun. Make some breaks, and there's always another party, right? You don't miss really out. Sure, this is fun and we want to be there, but is it really fun if I'm overslept and maybe hungover, still forcing myself going then onto the next event? I think a certain balance should be in there. It should be fun and not a pressure to be there to not miss anything. From an organizational standpoint, often those festivals have bigger teams and they can just prepare themselves also a bit with, hey, what do we do if we moderate someone? How do we handle this moderation? Or how do we handle people who get a bit too messed up? And there we are back on the whole communication part. What I also would like, so as I said before, I'm able to help inside my friends and community space, right? So if you make a festival and you know the people who are coming there and you see that something is off, go and talk to them, reach out. Um, we give out informations. Helping friends when they struggle is a thing we did before the Rave Aid was a thing. Like I always said, people in our space can reach out to me if they need to talk, if they want some help. And I always offered friends and people in our community an open hand for this. I even mentioned while we're still made events in the past that our job is more likely that of a social worker, that we are here for people. Yeah, it's cool to make all those events and have the music and the words, and yeah, I get it, it's a massive flex, but at the same time, when you're building a community, you're working with people together, and we should never forget this. It's not about us, it's about everyone in the space.
And along with the regular peer pressure, it's also important to know that pressuring your peers for better health, as opposed to just making them peer pressuring them into things that they shouldn't be doing, or for strength purposes. Again, while we're all here looking to gain friendships, we also have built several different types of communities where outreach is super important. Communication. Can't say that enough. The fact that we can reach out to each other and even say hi. we've seen it from time and time again where we think that someone is feeling depressed. They do a little bit of a weird outreach on Twitter, and we know that they're depressed. That small communication where you reach out and say, "Hey, bro, are you cool?" Goes a long way. But even in the case of like, why don't you come in and we'll just sit and we'll chat for a bit, to kind of clear the air and hopefully, detangle what you got going on up there, or even in your regular lifestyle that's concerning to you. And that builds friendships. Whoa, wouldn't you like that? Like the fact that we come in here and we have a good time too is great, but it's even greater when you have a friendship that will back you up, later on down the road too, just because you reached out and you communicated that you want to support them and you want their better health just as much as they want your better health as well. Carrying on here on VRCDJ Live, I want to talk to BlackiChu just a little bit about some more upcoming events and stuff like that. Obviously, your bi-weekly events really popping off, getting a lot of people in your community come in and enjoy the space. Earlier on in the stream, we were talking about finding better examples outside of just doing music stuff. And I know earlier we were talking about therapeutic just therapy and being able to de-stress and stuff like that. I know that there were a couple of things a couple of events outside of music events that you have coming up. You want to explain a little bit about what Rave Aid might have coming up very soon?
Well, one event that is coming up soon and is already in planning, I guess, is a sports-based event. So to make a bit more awareness about being more active, also with your body, having a bit of fun with playing like as an example, the volleyball field, right? To come together, play a bit of volleyball, or what's the other world the other day where we were in? The one with the where the gravity ball thingy.
I think it was like this gravity disc game,
Mhm.
a mix out of throwing disc and rugby. There was also standalone version of this game on
That's
Quest
wild.
back then. Yeah, I mean, you can have so much more fun. VRChat has so much to offer besides party and events and musics. I personally love world hopping and discovering all those crazy places other creators made before, right? I mentioned Dr. Morrow as an example. I love his worlds. I love being in there, let the atmosphere hitting me and discovering all the little details. Um, you can also make a lot of sports or gaming stuff in here, so it doesn't need to be party and events all the time. And we want to make some more events where you have to move, so like playing a bit volleyball or playing around golf or this gravity disc rugby game, just that the people also see, oh, VRChat has more to offer than just party and going wild. And especially if you play volleyball or some other physically more, how's it called,
Active.
demanding activity, then you definitely don't have the time to drink much alcohol. So you start sweating, you drink maybe more water or some Gatorade or whatever,
I was gonna
and see,
say,
hey,
like,
we had fun.
when would we be doing something like that? I know that like the Fridays and Saturdays are always the strongest times to be partying, doing raves, and just enjoying music and music festivals and stuff. When should we be focusing this attention? Should we be trying to figure this out on a Sunday? Should we try to find time during a weekday to kind of like have better health involvement?
So we try to make it in the week. Right now, Tuesdays is planned every 2 weeks, and switch with the recharge seasons, who are Sundays. It's like, okay, Monday is over, everybody is alive again, and Tuesday the energy level and motivation should be still pretty high with the people. And yeah, moving your body also gives you a nice dopamine kick. And maybe you even found a new activity you want to do more often with your friends. So this is a chance just to discover the more physically demanding part of VRChat.
I was going to say, I feel like we have to, as a community, we have to figure out a better way to get out of our chairs or get out of our beds. There's a lot of people that like they have their full bodies on and they're just laying either on the floor, they're in their bed, or like, I mean, that's just kind of it. You get your full body and that's what you're doing. It's just like, well, I'm laying down in VR and I'm not moving as often. But finding time to do that is super important too. And I think a lot of people in our community in general have been complaining a lot about the fact that there's so many music events, there's so many there's so many raves and so many festivals and stuff, and whatever happened to regular like map exploration and where's the downtime and all that sort of biz. But I just want to take another brief moment to be like, another thing that you guys were mentioning a little bit earlier this week was the fact that finding kind of like a low-key therapy session or a low-key way to get together and just communicate and kind of tell each other peer-to-peer how you're feeling, if there's any struggles in your life. Is that something that you're also investigating and doing with some of your events as well?
So the events are in first line to get a bit attention for the group. As you said before, we are not a club. We are a harm reduction group. So for a matter of fact, you cannot be part of the rave scene without making events, right? People will not know that your group is a thing. So people come in, see us, and with this we get the first contact kind of like thing. Maybe with this we get the sports event going on, and I notice people start opening up if they feel comfy and safe in a space. We plan a peer group for mental health where people just can come in and talk about. We also found a person who would love to do this. But of course, we started with a smaller test run, look how it is going, because we don't want to cause bigger harm. So if I would see that this peer group is not working like it should, then I would more likely put a stop on it, work it more out, and look how we can refine it to a better version that it really helps people. Talking about getting help from others, right now the group is pretty small. Blackie makes all the event stuff. I try to get all the harm reduction stuff and the whole peer support stuff under the head. But as I said, I can help only the circle of people who trust me. So if others are interested to help in their space, right, they don't even need to be part of our group, but look out for your friends. A sad fact we have here is we have all those peer pressure. We have people who go super wild. We have people who don't want to step others on the toes. And this is so long okay till someone dies. And people die in here. And it's a topic not everybody likes to talk about. But in my experience, alone from my circle, every year around 3, 4, 5 people are not here anymore, and they will not come anymore back. And it is not only drug usage, it is also often mental health issues that they just start to reach the point where they want to end it. And don't tipping on toes, yeah, I get this, but it maybe has a bad ending if you just see someone running down a cliff and not stopping him, even if you have the chance. We would love to have more people in our group who can be in their event space, in their clubs, in their friend group, and also offer those information, this help. This would be amazing to have. And it's not only the rave scene. Every community can have this. Small friend groups can have this. All those sad things not only happen on the big stage where then massive memorial events get formed. It can be that it's a group of 5 people and at one point there are just only 4 people anymore. And it impacted their lives. and nobody sees this. So it is important to draw attention to this.
It's always kind of difficult to mend an issue when it's too late and not having the resources and the education readily available and the resources to reach out. And one of those things happened to happen in VR a lot more than a lot of people realize. And off the stream, we did mention the fact that while we are building trust within our peers in here, at the beginning, we're all strangers. So for the fact that we are meeting for the first time, or you're meeting anybody in here for the first time, you have to first build that trust in order to kind of continue on. But as you've said before, we're all human. We're all in here. We all have means and needs. But also, too, we also need to find a better way to communicate with each other when there's issues and emergencies to be dealt with. And one of the amazing partnerships that you've told me in the past, we're going to touch a little bit about it because we are running out of time, is the Smart Recovery Global Network that is readily available online. And when we were talking about finding peer groups, finding ways to communicate amongst your peers within a small therapeutic session, comparable to reaching out globally for those people that don't readily live next door or in the same state. Talk to us a little bit about what this global initiation or the Recovery Global Group SMART can do within our community for better outreach for our friends that do live globally.
So the big benefit of Smart Recovery Global is they are mainly focused on online meetings. You can join their meetings. It's normally over Zoom, but they also have a Discord server. You have their trained professional and certified facilitators. They get training and educated on the topic. Sorry. And yeah, you can go in their calls, you can talk, you can sit there silent and just listen. You can also get their resources and information and strategies. And the big benefit I see is we live in an online space. So having an online group is for a lot of people beneficial. It's hard to find recovery maybe in your local area, but you can always hop on a Zoom call and go with people together who have the same issue. What I personally like on Smart the most is that they are not only like, oh, you drink, here's a Zoom call with 100 people, have fun, right? So they have specialized meetings for LGBTQ or for men or for women, for non-binary, for first responders or veterans. My contact by Smart explained me it's important for them to bring the culture the people have in one space. So you cannot put together single, not single, stay-at-home moms and I don't know, war veterans, and they try to find a point where they are coming together. What is also possible is everyone can make a smart training and certification. It's between 50 and $100 to do so, and then they can own meetings. So if someone says, "Oh, recovery work is absolutely mine, and I wish I would have a certified way to do this in a professional manner here in VRChat," we even got told if someone in our space wants to make this training and get the certification, they even can open a official Smart Recovery VRChat group, meet up in here, and do their program here in VRChat. And there comes the second group we work in. What is really important for me to point out, we work together with the Narcotics Anonymous group here in VRChat. It is a peer support group. They meet to go through meeting, talking about addiction. So if you are feeling more comfy in going to a VR meeting, we have groups here. We link them also.
So currently on our end right here, it looks like Discord has decided to be a problem for us, because that's how we bring in our calls and stuff like that. So it is apparently having an issue currently. So what we're going to do right now, just as we are at the end of our show, if there is a way for my producer to be able to drop some of the links for the smart global recovery, as well as some more information based on Rave Aid, that would be a really big help as we're tying together the last ends of our show. Once our Discord call does come back, hopefully we can communicate with our friends here again. But all of this is super helpful information from our friends here at Rave Aid as we're continuously wrapping up the rest of our program here. But a simple head nod from our friends here on the other side of the channel here will hopefully confirm that we love to have them here on the show. Sappy here from Rave Aid, as well as BlackiChu from Rave Aid as well. But we are going to wrap up our program, seeing that we are towards the end of our program. Anyway, thank you guys for coming by and sharing your information with us here on the program. For those of you that are at home for VRC DJ Live, of course, you can get all of this information up at rave.aid.com. Which I believe Zev has posted already in the chat, and they have all the information from the charts to even more information on how you can reach out through their Discord, get to know some of their events. Their events are listed up on the timeline if you are knowledgeable about the timeline and the things that we have in here. Of course, yeah, rave-aid.com, right. I don't know if I said that correctly. But they also have more information about the smart recovery, global recovery as well up on there, or you could probably reach out to Sappy as well online to be able to find that information. So of course, we want to thank our friends from Rave Aid for joining us here on the program today, and for the rest of our lineup. Believe it, we do have some housekeeping to do before we get on out of here. There is a new lineup for VRC DJ Live up on our Twitter or X and Blue Sky, and we have a couple of just a brief switch in our programming. Next week we'll be joined by Miss Stabby, which will not only has been doing a lot in our rave scene for several years, but also be able to bring us back from all of the different things that she has brought onto our program in VRChat as far as DJing and venues and livelihood and stuff like that. So we can't wait to talk to Miss Stabby. That starts at 3 p.m. Eastern next week, followed up with Jazzy Senpai at the end of the month. And the VRCDN. You definitely don't want to miss out for that. We're going to be talking with Jazzy about all the things that they have been DJing here in VR, as well as their involvement with the VRChat DJ community, as well as all the server-based stuff with the VRCDN. Moving forward, we have plenty more guests to come on the show for May, and we'll be having our schedule posted in a couple of weeks, so make sure that you're following us up on that. We'll have our replay of our episodes here up on YouTube, as well as a highlight for you tomorrow, so make sure you're following there. Another brief housekeeping measure before we get on out of here. We just announced it up on our X, but starting today, if you are interested in joining us on one of our wonderful projects that we have got cooking up, we have this new thing called VRC DJ Radio, and I believe it's this one. Boom. Look at that. We got a nice little poster here. Explains a little bit of information about how you can get involved if you're a DJ and you want to join us for a very lovely, awesome project where we're going to be hosting a 24-hour radio program. All that information you can find up on X and Blue Sky as well. So please go check out all the information we got for you there. Obviously, thank you all for coming by for a wonderful show. And per usual, usually we don't have any issues with Discord, but it just looks like Discord's just having a wonderful time doing everything that it's deciding to do. Oh, globally it's down. So wow, what an effect that aids for us. But again, for Sappy and for BlackiChu and for the VRC DJ Live team, I'm Rob Roman. Thank you for coming by for VRC DJ Live, and we hope to see you next time.